Baseball, the American national pastime. In this lesson, we're going to be looking at the idea that life is a game of baseball and the expressions that we get from that idea. In the last lesson, we looked at the idea that life is a game. And with a game, we associate winning and losing, winners and losers, rules, and things like that. So in this one, we're borrowing from the idea that life is a game, but we're getting more specific with what kind of a game we're talking about. And in this one, we're using a game of baseball. Because baseball is America's national pastime when it comes to sports, we have a lot of expressions, idioms, and things like that come from the game of baseball. So if you don't know the vocabulary or don't understand the game of baseball, most of these expressions won't make any sense. But hopefully by the end of this presentation, it will start to become more clear. So baseball is America's traditional national sport, which means that growing up, most children play baseball in their backyard or go out and play catch with their mom or dad. Kids get together and play baseball on their own, or they play Little League growing up. Baseball is really an everyman sport because all you need is a bat and a ball and some people to play with and some open space. Sometimes you don't even need a bat and a ball. I mean, you can play baseball with a stick and a rock if you really want to. So kids can get together and do it. It's relatively inexpensive and it's calm and enjoyable. It's not a really intense sport. You can just sit back, relax, have a hot dog, listen to the radio, watch it on television, just have a good time. Baseball has also gotten into the culture. So we can see here just some rap stars who are wearing baseball uniforms, baseball hats for their different teams. Or there's many movies that have come out about the game of baseball. And here's just a few. So America very much loves baseball, or has loved it in the past. That love may be changing, but the language that we use to talk about it isn't. So first in this is the idea of the ballpark. So the ballpark is where we play baseball. And here's a picture of a ballpark. So the ballpark could be just out in some park anywhere in a city or in a town. It could be a stadium like this, or it could be in a dome, which is a covered stadium. So from this idea of the ballpark, we get expressions like a ballpark figure or estimate. Now, if you look at the ballpark, it's a pretty large area. So this expression, a ballpark figure or a ballpark estimate, is a number produced by estimating quickly. It's just an estimated number. For example, what's the population of Fargo-Moorhead? I'm not sure, but a ballpark figure is around 250,000 people. So if you're just guessing at a number, that's probably close to the real number, but not exactly. We could say it's a ballpark figure or a ballpark estimate. If we say that somebody's in the ballpark, we mean that they're close in their guess or estimate. For example, a new small single-family home in Fargo will cost in the ballpark of $200,000. The plate. So looking at this picture, we see the batter. That's the guy with the bat with the stick in his hand. And if you see the white thing on the ground in front of him, that's what we call home plate. That's home base. So the batter stands at the home plate. Once he hits the ball, he has to run around first base, second base, third base, and then back to this home base here that we see in the picture, or the home plate. So we have this expression, step up to the plate. When it's a batter's turn to hit the ball, we say that they step up to the plate, which means they walk up to this base here and stand there and wait for the ball to be pitched to them. Now, if we tell somebody to step up to the plate, it means to do something, taking responsibility or initiative. For example, my boyfriend is lazy and doesn't make any decisions. I wish he would step up to the plate by being more romantic and trying harder in our relationship. So to step up to the plate is to take responsibility for something that should be your responsibility. The batter or the hitter. This is the person who's hitting the ball. because if you look at the thing in his hand, we call that the bat. So the person who's batting is called the batter. Now, if we say somebody is a heavy hitter, they are a powerful, commanding, or very qualified person or leader. So if we look at this guy, if most of the time he hits the ball very, very far, we would say that he is a heavy hitter, and he would be very valuable on a baseball team. Likewise, a heavy hitter in an organization is a person who's very qualified or who does a good job in a situation most of the time. For example, when a rich person wants to win a case in court, he will hire all the heavy hitters, the lawyers who never lose a case. A pinch hitter is somebody who's a substitute or takes the place of somebody or something else. So let's say this guy steps up to the plate. It's his turn to bat, but for some reason he can't. He needs somebody else to go to bat for him. Then he needs a pinch hitter. So a pinch hitter would take his place. For example, if at home, when mother has had a hard day with a cross baby or an extra lot of work, a girl says to herself, "Mother's had a hard day. I can see that she is tired. Now, instead of running off to play after school, I will stay home and mind the baby or help with the work." That girl becomes a pinch hitter at home. She helps the home to score a success. And this comes from a writing from 1920. So we can see even back in 1920, we have these baseball phrases in the language. To go to bat for somebody, this is like a pinch hitter, but it's a little bit different in the meaning. So if somebody goes to bat for somebody, they're giving active support of someone or something. For example, Barack Obama said, "I've said before, I don't believe that any single party has a monopoly on good ideas, and I will go to bat for whatever works, no matter who or where it comes from." So that means he would defend it or support it, go to bat for it. The pitch. So when the pitcher pitches the ball, the person who's batting has to keep their eye on the ball, which means they have to watch the ball very carefully in order to hit it, because the bat isn't very thick and the ball is usually pretty small. So you have to watch the ball very carefully, and we say you have to keep your eye on the ball. As an expression, to keep your eye on the ball means to focus on what is important, especially a goal. For example, if you really want to succeed in life, you've got to keep your eye on the ball and not get distracted by things that are a waste of time. So this is similar to stay on track, but you're keeping your eye on a goal. You're focusing on a goal. To take your eye off the ball is the opposite. It means to lose focus on what's important, especially a goal. For example, I could have passed this class easily, but I took my eye off the ball and didn't do a bunch of assignments. So to be on track or to get off track is very similar to keep your eye on the ball and take your eye off the ball. Now, a curveball. So the pitcher, when he's pitching the ball, has some different kinds of pitches that he can throw. So one kind of pitch we call a fastball, where he just throws it as fast and as straight as he possibly can. The curveball, however, if you look at this picture, it's showing the position of the ball at different points in time. A curveball curves in the air as it's going, which makes it very difficult to hit because you can't predict exactly where the ball is going to be when you have to hit it. So in expressions, if you throw a curveball or are thrown a curveball, it's an unexpected and usually unpleasant situation. Unexpected is the key thing here. So a curveball is something that's unexpected. For example, because of my personal story, I'm very interested in illness. One thing we discovered as a family is that when you're thrown a curveball like cancer or multiple sclerosis, often people do not know what to do first. So here she's calling these different diseases, cancer or MS, she's calling them curveballs because they're things that you didn't see them coming, you didn't predict them. So if you're driving to work and your car breaks down unexpectedly, you can call that a curveball. Hit or miss. So the batter is trying to hit the ball. We have this expression, hit or miss. So to hit or miss is to succeed or fail, to be good or bad, to be possible or impossible. I mean, sometimes it happens or sometimes it doesn't happen. For example, Finding a bus that is on time can be hit or miss, which means sometimes you can find a bus that's on time, sometimes you can't find a bus that's on time. Or, for example, right now, if you're trying to buy toilet paper and you go to the store, you may find some toilet paper there, you may not find some toilet paper there. It can be hit or miss. Strikes. So if a batter misses the ball, if he swings and misses, we call it a strike. So a strike in life is a failure or a mistake, usually a small one. For example, the teacher had a strike against him when he forgot to come to work yesterday. Because in baseball, you get 3 strikes before you are out, before you have to leave. So if you just have 1 strike, it's just a small failure or mistake. But it could become bigger if you do it again and again. To strike out is to completely fail at doing something. For example, I had 3 job interviews last week, but I struck out on all of them. Or, for example, if a guy goes and tries to ask a girl out on a date and she completely says no to him, he can say, I struck out. Out of the batter's box. So the batter's box, if you look here in the picture, is this white box shape on the ground around the home plate. We call it the batter's box because this is the place where the batter has to stand when they're hitting the ball. They have to stand inside of these lines. So to get out of the batter's box means that the batter has hit the ball or gets to go to first base. So in life, we say to get out of the batter's box is to make progress at the beginning of something or to start successfully, because getting out of the batter's box is the first thing they have to do before they can score a point. For example, I tried to get a date with her, but I couldn't even get out of the batter's box, which means probably she wouldn't even talk to him. Off the bat. So here we see the batter hitting the ball, and the ball has just been hit by the bat. So if we say that something happens right off the bat, it means from the start or immediately. Because if you look at this picture, the ball was probably just hit less than 1 second before. For example, my best friend and I met in our sociology class and we became good friends right off the bat during the first week. So if something happens immediately in a situation, we can say right off the bat. The fences. So around the baseball field, we have usually these fences. Now here the fences are green, they can be metal ones, there's all different kinds of fences, but the fences surround the field. So if somebody is swinging for the fences, they're trying very hard for a big success. So if you look at the batter, he swings the bat. If we say that he's swinging for the fences, that means he's trying to hit the ball over the fence. And if he does that, that's a home run. Now, if somebody in life is trying to swing for the fences, they're trying very hard for a big success. For example, the student will be swinging for the fences for her upcoming math test. But because she's been busy with work all week, she's worried about if she'll be able to pass. So here, maybe if you're trying to get 100% on a test or close to 100%, then you're swinging for the fences. To hit a home run, hit a grand slam, knock it out of the park, these are all very similar. So in baseball, when you run around all of the bases, first base, second base, third base, and home, that's called a home run. To hit a grand slam is doing a home run, but when there's other players standing on the bases. So you would get like 4 points instead of 1 point. So a home run's 1 point, grand slam is 4 points. To knock it out of the park is to hit the ball over the fences. So if we say that somebody hit a home run, hit a grand slam, or knocked it out of the park, it meant that they had a really big success in something. For example, the student hit a home run by scoring 100% on the final exam. So if they did really good, they hit a home run. If they did really, really, really good, they hit a grand slam or knocked it out of the park. So the first base that a player runs to is called first base. And that here you can see here is the first base. So this player is trying to actually touch the base with his foot. So to get to first base is the first step in a process or relationship. So this is a little bit farther than the batter's box. For example, I've tried applying to work at many companies after graduation, but I can't get to first base with any of them. They never even call me back. So if I say I can't even get an interview, then I haven't gotten to first base yet, because that's the first thing I need to do if I want to get a job is get the interview. First base can also be used in romantic relationships. So however serious you are physically in a romantic relationship, so first base might be holding hands, second base might be kissing, and then on from there. You can use your imagination. So to touch base, a player has to touch the base before they can go to the next base. So to touch base with somebody, we use it as an expression meaning to make contact or to communicate with somebody or a group. You'll hear this one a lot. People will say, let's touch base, or I'll touch base with you. For example, let's touch base next week. I'll call you. So touching base means to communicate with somebody successfully. To be off base. So you can see the runner here. He was running to the base, but he didn't touch it. He missed the base, which is a mistake. So to be off base means to be misguided or mistaken. For example, the student thought he deserved 100% for his research paper, but he was way off base and received 50%. So if you are mistaken about something you think or believe, or misguided in what you think or believe, we say that you're off base. Covering the bases. So if we look here at the baseball field, we see we have the batter, we have the pitcher, and then we have first base, second base, and third base over here. And then this is home base over there. Now, if I look at first base, you see this guy here. He's defending first base. This guy here, he's defending second base. And this guy here, he's defending third base. So there's somebody defending each of the bases, and then we have the catcher right here. He's defending home base. So in this situation, the bases are covered, which means they're protecting or taking care of each of their responsibilities. So as an expression, to cover all the bases means to be prepared for every situation or contingency. For example, I don't know which vocabulary words are on the test, so I'm reviewing all of them just to cover all my bases. So to cover all your bases is to be prepared for everything that might happen. Left field. So if we look back at this picture, we have these are called the infielders, the basemen, and then we have these guys standing out here. These are called the outfielders. So we have the right fielder, we have the center fielder, and we have the left fielder. So this area over here is called left field. To say that something happens in left field means that it's strange or unexpected. For example, way out of left field, my ex called me yesterday. I haven't talked to him in 10 years. So if we say something is out in left field or out of left field, it means it's strange or unexpected. Because you look at this guy, he doesn't look like he's expecting anything to happen, because most likely the ball will not come to him. Because if you're in left field, you're unlikely to see the ball at all. It's going to go somewhere else on the field. So this guy doesn't have a lot to do. So if it's unexpected or strange, it's left field. So for example, if you're talking with somebody and they bring up something completely unexpected that's not connected to anything else you're talking about, we would say that it's out of left field. Playing ball. Playing ball is just playing the game of baseball. So if we say that somebody will play ball, it means that they're cooperating because they're participating in the game. This is our game. Life is the game, and if you're cooperating in life, you're playing ball. For example, sometimes students don't bring any books or pens or paper to class. They really don't want to play ball with the teachers. So if somebody's not cooperating, we can just say that they're not playing ball. If they are cooperating, then they are playing ball. Hardball. So if a baseball is hard, there's another one that's a little bit bigger than this. We call it a softball, but a regular baseball is hard. So if we're playing hardball, we're being tough with somebody because it's harder to hit this than it is to hit a big softball because a softball is much bigger than that. So to play hardball is to be tough with somebody. For example, President Trump likes to play hardball with reporters because he doesn't trust them. So if you ever watch President Trump when he's taking questions from reporters, he's usually very combative. He's kind of mean to them. So he's playing hardball. There's actually also a political show called Hardball where the host of the show usually asks tough questions. So to play hardball can also be asking very difficult questions to somebody. The opposite of this is to play softball. So if you look here, you see probably a dad pitching the ball to his son. He's throwing it very slowly. He's throwing it underhand, so it'll be very easy for the boy to hit the ball. Whereas here, when he throws that ball, it's going to be hard to hit. Very difficult. That's why we call it hardball. This one, we would call it softball because it would be easy to hit that ball. So if somebody's playing softball, it describes something that is made very easy, especially questions. So somebody is trying to make it easy for somebody else. For example, a journalist or reporter who likes a politician will ask softball questions so that the politician will give more interviews to the journalist later on. So if you watch somebody interviewing another person and they're only asking them very easy questions, questions that don't make them uncomfortable, we call those softball questions. And then we have the ball game. So if something's a whole new or a whole different ball game, that means there's a drastic or a big change in a situation or a completely new situation. For example, once you finish high school and enter the university, it's a whole new ball game. Classes are tougher and there's more work to do. In baseball, like in other sports, we have different leagues. So in baseball, we have the minor leagues and the major leagues. So the major leagues are the professional ones that you see on TV. The minor leagues, you don't usually see them on TV. So if we say that something is out of your league, it means it's not in the same category with somebody else. For example, she was the most beautiful girl in school, and I knew she was out of my league. So if you like a boy or if you like a girl, and you feel like they're too good for you, you say that they're out of your league. Or if you're applying for a job that you're not qualified for, we would say the job is out of your league. For example, there's this movie, She's Out of My League. So if you look at the movie poster, you see this guy here who just looks like a normal guy, not particularly handsome. He's probably not rich. And then you see this girl here who appears to like him. She obviously is attractive, and she's what we would say out of his league. That's why the movie's called She's Out of My League. And these guys are like, why is that girl liking that guy there? Because she's out of his league. The big leagues are the major leagues. This is the highest level of a social group, an organization, or a business. Like I said, the major league is the professional one. That's the one you see on TV. It's usually the one where they have the best players and the best teams. So to be big league or major league is the highest level of a group or organization. For example, when you enter the university from high school, you have to work much harder because you're in the big league of education. If somebody's in some kind of a company or a business, once they are in like the best company or the best business, they call it the big leagues. This is also a phrase, big league. Donald Trump uses this one quite a bit. He'll say something is big league, which sounds like bigly, but he's saying big league. All right, those are some common baseball expressions that we have. Thanks for watching.